Alright, as always, you can go to YouTube channel My Medical Nightmare and see 40 plus hours video on everything that happened to me. Alright, courtesy Alabama Public Radio, dated November 15th, 2024. Birmingham approves $1 million redevelopment agreement for Northeast YMCA renovation. They say the organization has joined with the city and area partners for what is being called the Roebuck Collaborative, a $15.3 million project to improve the East Birmingham community. The Northeast YMCA will receive major renovations to its current 18,000 square foot facility and a new 8,000 square foot addition with a premier healthcare center, mental health and nutrition counseling, and family and community resource center. AL.com reported on November 8th that Christ Health Center will run the attached pediatric health clinic. Jefferson County is contributing $1.9 million to the project, and around $9.5 million is being raised in private donation, expected to open mid-spring 2025. Others involved Habitat for Humanity, Impact Family Counseling, United Way of Central Alabama, Meals on Wheels, and Alabama First Class Pre-K and Community Food Bank of Central Alabama. I urge the partners to reconsider the involvement of Christ Health Center. I was a patient and customer of Christ Health in 2019. I had a really negative experience. I'll go into the details of what happened to me. And I think all concerned should be aware of who your partners and team members are. And you need to do some due diligence on this organization. I was a patient for Christ Health Center, Dr. Terry Daniel Smith, MD, as well as nurse practitioner Anna Musgraves in 2019. I had a broken skull injury and head trauma that I almost died from. The wound became infected with parasites as well as 3-inch long insects and worms that you can see in various x-rays, MRI, and CT that I had done. At the time I visited Christ Health Center, I was trying to get an MRI scan, and I had a lot of trouble doing this. I believe that some person involved in my healthcare and treatment may have gone to some length to deny me healthcare, specifically more detailed scans on this area, because days before the Christ Health visit, I went to the Ascension St. Vincent's East emergency department where I had a computed tomography scan of my head and cervical area of my neck. I was misdiagnosed in that scan. The radiologist and the doctors in the emergency room, they would not note an injury that I later found in the images. And I'll put them up here so everybody can see. My rundown of issues with Christ Health Center, Birmingham, Alabama. I believe I received no measurable level of service in my visit. I was charged the same amount of money, $110, to see the doctor and MD as the nurse, a nurse practitioner. Other medical practices around Birmingham, I paid roughly half of that price. Christ Health is partners with Ascension, St. Vincent's Hospital, and it looks like either Christ Health decided to ignore my injury or were ordered to ignore my injury. And I believe this is to protect the reputations and million-dollar salaries of the, quote, professionals, unquote, involved. I also believe it may have been patient dumped, and that's a violation of EMTALA, EMTALA, in the course of my seeking treatment. I was a self-pay patient. I had no insurance, and I could provide no stated source of income. Dr. Terry Daniel Smith, MD, outright refused to grant me a referral for an MRI. Just a few days later, I got that MRI. I had to pay cash out of pocket, and broken bone surrounded by infection shows up in that scan. Broken bone also shows up in the CT scan. He claims in his notes in my medical chart to have reviewed in detail. I was billed $50 for a hemoglobin blood test and electrocardiogram I never received. And yeah, I think taking money from people who don't have anything, such as myself, is obscene. Nurse Musgraves wrote in her report that she suspected psych etiology to explain my symptomology, and this is absolutely wrong. Broken skull bone is visible in the MRI, CT, and X-ray that I've had done. Nurse practitioner Anna Musgraves agreed to give a referral when I secured my MRI. So I had to go out and find another medical practice with the equipment who could do the scan. I was given 3 avenues of financial assistance to pursue, and all 3 of these led to dead ends. I did not qualify. This is for Ascension Access to Care, Cooper Green Hospital, and UAB Hospital in Birmingham, Alabama. After I paid $500 cash out of pocket for an MRI at American Health Imaging in downtown Birmingham on the south side, the diagnostic center staff told me that they needed a medical referral. I informed them to call Christ Health Center in Woodlawn. They were put on hold 15 minutes, and then someone, we don't know who, at Christ Health Center hung up the telephone. They backed out on giving that referral. I believe somebody didn't want me to get this MRI scan because it would show the truth of an injury that I was told I did not have. A medical doctor I had no interaction with also strangely edited and signed off on my records and chart days following that visit. This was shortly after I lodged my first official complaint for lack of service from Christ Health. This doctor was Beverly Vanderpool. I put all my records from this visit in several hours worth of video on YouTube channel My Medical Nightmare. You can go there and see my side of this story. Deborah Pickens also tells me that a letter with a statement was going to be put in the mail to me after that August 2023 meeting. And what I can say is I have not yet received this promised letter. 1 year later, they know my address too because they sent me those bills for those medical services that weren't performed on me. So people out there looking at healthcare options in the Birmingham, Alabama area, please take my experience to heart, and I would advise that you look elsewhere when seeking medical treatment from a doctor or a nurse.